Hey, everybody. Hold on. Let me make sure I got my volume on high. Give me a second. There it is. Hey, KK. Hey, AKA. Hi, Steven. How are you? I've been dying to go live to respond to somebody, but I haven't been able to until now. So bear with me for 1 second. Hold on. But I haven't been able to until now. Hold on a second. Hey, Ring of Home. Hi, Cree. Hi, Cindy. Hi, KK. So I wanted to clear up some things. Hey, Celia. Um, hey, Nancy. First of all, let's clear something up. There's no family member. Hey, Adi. Hi, Cree. There's no family member talking to JY. Absolutely no daughter, no son, no nothing. The only one that's ever talked to him was my sister. Nobody else in the family would ever entertain him. Hey, Night Angel. So that's a big lie. And second of all, you're right. You do have the best marriage ever. I really wish I was like you, and I'll be there when my husband breaks my arm. That's the only way I can compete with you, because that's what everybody really wants out of a marriage, or uses those brass knuckles against me. Hey, Jules, how are you? Hey, Celia. But I definitely had to clear it up because I promise you there's nobody talking to him. Absolutely nobody. It's all just lies. And I wanted to clear up some of the things that E11 was saying that was a lie. First of all, there was no making amends with him at all. Nothing. The screenshots that I have of him was him saying that he was telling other people that well, I'm going to tell you, he was telling Janeva, hey, Jane D, that if I wanted the RO gone, I should give him information. It wasn't the other way around. Yeah, Sophie, maybe you can talk to your husband about it, and your marriage will be just as good, because we're all jealous. Because that's what everybody wants, a husband to put their hands on you, right? So the screenshots that I have are of him saying that if she wants the RO gone, she's got to give me this, not the other way around. And thank you, Brooke, because I saw the comment that you made on E11's that said that she went to him and asked him to remove the RO without telling me anything. Never put it past me. And Brooke was one of the ones that came back and said, hey, he said he'll give you screenshots also taken, because it was all via text. He said that he'll take the RO if you give him some information. And I said, absolutely not. You don't use an RO like that to try to get information from somebody. And the reason that Janeva didn't go up there is not because, and he's stupid enough to say things like that, like they wouldn't give me the screenshots. The reason that Janeva did not go up there is not because I threatened her with anything, because she'll tell you I've never threatened her. I've never threatened anybody. I've never threatened to go to people's houses and pew them. None of that shit. The reason that Janeva didn't go up there is because she's not going against me. Because unlike somebody else, I don't use people like that. Because Jane D, click the link now, or I'm going to show all your screenshots, all our conversations. That doesn't work. So she's never going to go up there and say shit. Because here's the difference, which people don't. Well, people here see it, people there don't see it. When you treat other people like shit, this is what you get back. Because I've never treated Janeva like shit. I've never treated her like shit. And I've never said, okay, you're going to do this, or I'm going to do this to her. So she's already here. Hey, pretty bird. She's been accepted into our chats. She talks to people. Everybody treats her good. Do you think that when you have a reputation the way that they've given her the reputation, the way that Anne says she's a horrible person, when you have a reputation like that, and finally you're at a point where people are accepting you for you and not and treating you nicely in chat and saying hi to you and how you're doing and what's everything the way she's been treated now compared to the way she was treated a year ago, you think she's going to give all that up to go on a platform of somebody who's treating you horribly and dragging you and showing your screenshots so that he can get satisfaction of whatever he's looking for in his life and then come back and everybody in the chats are going to be like, ugh, you certainly didn't change. You're out of here. I don't want to say hi to you anymore. Why would you put your own happiness, your own, feeling normal, like they say, going into chats and people saying hi to you for someone who's just going to use you? So she absolutely was never going in that chat. In fact, I knew she wasn't going in that panel before anybody else did because she told me, I'm not going on that panel. I'm not here to get dragged. But I do want to clear some stuff up. I didn't give her information like E11 was saying. I never gave her the information. I didn't talk to Janeva when I gave that screenshot to somebody else, the screen record to somebody else, to report to the police, not for anything else. Because I, at that time, was thinking that maybe I didn't even know that Eric had been arrested. I thought that it could have been Eric too, and I wanted to make sure. And first of all, remember, I always said I didn't even know there was a baby. And then I was like, if there's a baby, is she hiding it from that? Maybe he did something, maybe he didn't. Who did it? And I gave that screenshot. I didn't talk to Janeva. That screenshot was supposed to be, screen recorder was supposed to be to go straight to the police, not to Janeva. So I never gave it to Janeva, unlike E11 says. And the video of Leda talking about her dog that I interviewed her with was not a video that was talking bad about Leda. It was Leda talking to me about her dog. So it obviously wasn't a bad video. So when one time Janeva said, he wants to know if he can play it and you won't strike him. I'm a reasonable person. I don't talk to this idiot, but anybody can play any videos and I'm not going to strike. If they're public, they're public. If it would have been a bad video, I would have hidden it. So I said, I'm not going to strike anybody for playing one of my videos. That was the extent of it. I never said there's never going to be a screenshot of me saying, hey, if I let him play the video, will he drop the RO? There's never going to be that. Because I would never have said something like that. I can be civilized and say, hey, just don't criticize me and don't say shit about me and play the videos. If you want to hear her talking about her dog, which was normal talk, then play the freaking video. Who cares? But I was not giving anything to anybody. And the reason why he has nothing new to show is because Janeva was the one who was talking to Eric. Janeva was the one who was giving him information. When I found out that Janeva had given him the screen record, guess what happened? And that's in the very beginning. I didn't give Janeva anything anymore. Because I thought it was so not cool of her to do that. So since that time until now, Janeva has only information of anything she's found out on her own when she was helping John. She has no other information. She has no inside information. She has nothing. No recordings, nothing at all. Aren't those watermarked conversation? Yes, they are. He stole them. He put his watermark on it. So they don't belong to him. And when he says he's spoken to Eric, no, he hasn't. Not once. Not once. He has not. It was all Janeva. And Janeva has never asked me for anything, and I would never give her anything. So there's no inside information at all. Nothing going out. And and she's not getting him any more information of what she could find publicly. So it's dead right there. And for him to say that that shit belongs to him, and for him to say that he's talking to my daughter, it's a lie. I promise you, 150% it's a lie. Hey, Chris. He just wants to keep everything going because remember, the RO goes both ways. But I'm not dragging him like he's dragging me. He says that he's in the only love marriage that in the whole how many years has everybody been married? But his is the best one ever. He's the only one. I don't know, but I would say that if your spouse hits you, you're not in a love relationship. And don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. But E11 was saying that I was feeding her information to give to him. Absolutely not. And Brooke went in there and said, Maria had no idea that I asked John that. I did it on my own. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you for saying that. Because I'm so sick of the lies. So sick of the lies. And E11, I didn't dox you yesterday. You said on your community tab, I bet you don't know my last name. And I said Diaz. You tell me, I bet you don't know my last name. So then why you ask me a question and you want me to respond or not? Then don't ask. I'm glad that my marriage was nothing like that. Me too, right? Like, what the hell is that? To go up there and say, oh, it's the best, everybody's jealous. Nobody's jealous. Nobody's jealous. I just wanted to clear up that I'm not giving Janeva, I have not ever given her anything again. I didn't talk to Janeva when that person gave Janeva the screenshots and she screen recorded and she gave it to John. I was not talking to her at the time. So again, E11, it wasn't Janeva. I would never have handed it to her at the time because I was never talking to her at that time. We weren't talking like we are now. And I'm not threatening Janeva, like he said. She's not afraid of me. Janeva's not afraid of anybody. She's not afraid of me, not afraid. But when you realize that you've been used and that some people, some content creators just use you and don't care about the consequences. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, sassy mom. They don't care about the consequences. So in other words, if you don't go up in my panel, I'm going to read all the conversation, all the screenshots between me and you. Does that sound like somebody who would be her friend? That's like saying, hey, Cree, if you don't come up here now on panel because I want you up here, I'm going to go back and read all our IG. Is that a friend? So, of course, she's not going to come on. The only thing Janeva needs to do is say, fuck off. I'm not going to do this anymore. And don't, but it's on her. But she sure as hell ain't going to go up there and lie. She sure as hell is not going to lie for somebody who will drag her in a week or a few days or tomorrow. But I'm sick and tired of whatever he decides to come. And by the way, because I don't talk about Leda on here, does not mean, he says, people who are defending her, making money off of it. Where am I making money? I'm demonetized. Where am I making money? So you want to try another lie? You know what? Because if something happened, I'm not the police. I'm not the judge. I'm not the detective. I'm not anybody. Neither is anybody else on here or over there. Nobody is. Nothing that is said on YouTube will ever be helpful. And I promise you that he has sent nothing to the police because none of that shit is anything admissible when she had an RO on him before for harassment for a year and a half. And it's just stalking the hell out of her. That's what he's doing. And you know what? He is stalking her in real life. And to the person who is the sub, who's following Leda around in Wisconsin, you better be careful. Don't get yourself in trouble for a content creator, because what you're doing, you can get yourself into big trouble. It's not cool to go to people's houses and stalk them. You're that obsessed that you have to send people to somebody's house and stalk them. I've never seen a content creator send somebody to somebody's house to see if they're there or not. That's not normal. And the way he was treating people, whoever that Roro person was, can you imagine having that upset? And then, okay, fine, I give up. I give up. When she doesn't get arrested, it's Maria's fault. When she doesn't get arrested, it's Maria's fault. None of us are involved in this case. None of us. This is just for a money grab. This is just for entertainment purposes on his part. None of us are involved. This is not anything for entertainment. This is a serious thing. He's taking it to the next extreme, and he's pulling the people in with him because he's having people who live in Wisconsin follow her. But he flipped out when someone drove by his place. Yep. Didn't he learn the first? No, he didn't learn the first time. He thinks he can get away with it. Hold on. I'm just saying to the person who's following her, don't fall for that shit. Don't get yourself in trouble for YouTube. It's illegal to stalk people the way that. Hey, Jasmine, it's illegal to stalk people that way. I promise you, if you get in trouble, he would never help you. Why are you risking yourself by sending him pictures of Leda's house? Why are you risking yourself by checking to see if her car is there? Is it worth it? Is it normal? Do you see Rabbit doing that? Do you see what's her name? The one that he was Sherelle doing that? Do you see Kiki and Kibitz doing that? Hey, Freeside, why would you even care to follow somebody around like that? Is that normal? So in other words, if you don't bash her, if you don't get involved in bashing her and calling her a baby killer and saying all these horrible, horrible things, then you're not normal. You've got to do that. And to find out if there's somebody living in Wisconsin, to get them to follow her around. That's not normal. And please stop doing that for him. I promise you, if you get yourself in trouble, he's never gonna help you get out of it. Yeah, these people wouldn't want it done to them, so don't do it to others. Hey, Mona, how are you? Why would you do that to another person? You do have to remember that she had an RO for a year and a half, actually. Okay? So he shouldn't even be doing this to her. And the screenshots of those horrible things that are being sent to him via text, whoever's doing that spoof, whatever you call it, the spoof things. Yes, Sassy Mom, he did. Whoever is sending those spoof messages to him is doing it to her. So it's not one-sided. Hers are even worse. Hey, Lisa Marie, what they're saying to her is horrible. So it's not one-sided. It's somebody playing a game with them. There are real bloggers and are freaks who think they are bloggers. I know. That's why I say it's not. Why would you risk your getting in trouble for a blogger by following somebody? And then the person who's sending it to him, he's sending it around to other people. So when he turns on you like he turns on everybody else, you're going to get in trouble. Yeah, I made her aware of it. I sent her the proof. Someone that hates all the players and is enjoying. Yep, exactly. Rising people up because he's getting spoof texts and Lada's getting spoof texts. And I'm telling you, they're horrible. But this is not going to stop because somebody's enjoying going both ways and trying to freak both people out. So he's blaming her, and then she does it. She's like, "Is it him? Who is it?" So it doesn't stop as long as that he keeps thinking that it's coming from her. It's not. It's not coming from her. She's getting horrible messages. Not only that, they tried to contact her, saying it was Janeva, using Janeva's name when it wasn't her. So they thought that she was going to write, hey, it's Janeva. She was going to start talking to her. And I said, hey, Janeva. I don't know the true story. Don't tell me. Yeah, I said, hey, Janeva, why are you messaging Leda? And she said, I'm not messaging anybody. And I go, let me show you. And she's like, oh, no, no, no. Tell her it's not me. So they thought that maybe because Leda would see Janeva in the chat, that she would respond. This is how bad it is. She already has, sassy mom. She already has. You don't stalk people and follow them home and stuff. You stay in the shadows playing people against each other for their own amusement. You're right. Hey, Sue, how are you? Thinking they are I know. They have nothing. This is YouTube. This is not the DA's office. This is not the police department. This is not the detective. This is YouTube. Nothing. You know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. If he says, I've given everything I've got to the police, he's given nothing. He's given nothing. Because he's got nothing. But I'll tell you what, all the police has to do is say, okay, he sent me this. He just sent me this thing right here, right? So let me go look at his channel. Oh my God, he's got a hate boner on her. No way, we're not touching this with a 10-foot pole. All these screenshots of somebody talking to Eric. Nope, not doing it. And you have to remember when everything happened back in July, and he said that Eric had said it was her, she also was not sure if it was him. Because when this happened in July, and there's also screen records where she said, I don't know if it could be Eric. It could be Eric. I'm not sure. So both of them said to each other. So it's not like I got to hear a screenshot and Eric said it was her. We're not detectives. We're not police. They don't need us to tell them how to do their job. If she's found guilty, it's on her. If she's found innocent, it's on her. It's not our problem. We're not going to change it. I promise you, the police think we're all crazy. Nobody has to give their input to the police. Nobody is talking to her like that to get that kind of information. Hey, Tracy, how are you? But for him to get so upset over something like this, because guess what he said? I've only made $10 in 3 hours. There's your answer. $10 in 3 hours. Who's doing it for money? Who's doing it for money? He understands it, Mikey. Ren doesn't speak it. He understands it. So I'm not doing it for money. No, I mean, to come on here every night and drag and drag and drag and drag and drag here, that doesn't mean it's doing it for money. He's just doing it because it's a vendetta. And he said, though, he only made $10. Who cares if you made zero? If you want justice, right? The authorities think all this shit is absolutely ridiculous. And none of this shit, none of these lives, none of this will ever be used anywhere in a courthouse. None of it. And I promise you, if he thinks that he can get his information to the police and the police will pay attention, her lawyer would have this thrown out in a heartbeat with the hate boner that he has on her. He wouldn't be within 10 foot of a courthouse with the hate boner that he has. It's so easy for her lawyer to say, "What, are you crazy? This guy she had a restraining order against. He hates her. Um, None of this can be used in court, and it's out." So don't fall for any of this shit. Don't fall for any of this shit. But I just want to clear up that I have nothing to do with it. I will never ever send any information to him, to Janeva, to anybody about this. I say later for a passion. Yeah, for 7 or 8 years now, and he's lost his mind. He doesn't care about the baby at all. The only thing lately that I absolutely think she'd report to the police was the death threats coming from some absolute illegal and uncalled for. Yep, I agree. Hey, Heatwave honey. But I promise you that he's not talking to anybody in my family. If he talks to my sister, she's a moderator. That's up to them. I don't care. But nobody, no children, no husband, nothing. We know you wouldn't. Not yeah. Hey, Leda, how are you? Good timing. So no sister. I mean sister. Yeah, probably. No daughter, no son, no husband, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And for him to think that he can get my daughter to go to court with him, just for him saying that, it's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. So E11, no, I didn't give it to Janeva. I've said it a million times, but you don't listen. I didn't give it to Janeva. And do not compare me to JY. Because the crazy one was you with that board. I've never done a board and never would. To sit there and write, have the time to do all those stickies. And you want to compare me to him. Give me a fucking break. You're the one who had the obsession with the little board and the stickies. I'm going to have to rewind. I can't believe that E11 would even say shit like that. That shows you the hate boner that E11 has, or the nutcase that she is. And Anne, stop stalking me. Why are you even following? Why are you subscribed to me? I'm not subscribed to you. You watch my post and you comment on shit that I didn't even say your name. You're so fucking controlling. This is what you used to do before. Can you move on? Remember, you're happy now. So move on. Oh, shit. Hold on. Right? If she's so happy, why is she trying to control you? Never take a picture of a house and some random stranger. Maria's not a weirdo, just saying, yep, exactly. Anne wants to. Ugh. Ugh. Lisa Marie. Gross. No. Remember, you're happy. Yeah, remember, you're happy now. Remember? You got your life the way you want it now. Move on. If the post doesn't have your name on it or doesn't talk about you, you don't have to respond to it, Anne. I promise you, nobody on this side cares about your response. Lisa, something is really wrong with that part of this community. I know. I don't understand it. Be happy. Be who you are. Don't even look at me. I'm not following you. Why are you subscribed to me? I promise I unsubscribe from everybody. I don't follow anybody anymore on that side. I only follow Jules and Cindy and Sophie and JJ and Bliss Chris and everybody else who's on this side. Lisa Marie. Leda. I follow Leda. I follow everybody who's on this side. And is not happy. Anyone can guess life isn't what she thought it would be. I haven't even watched Anne's lives in forever since she did that one of me, which I didn't want to watch. I saw enough of the pictures on Reddit and thought that shit was hilarious. I've never watched it, and I don't get a notification because I'm not following her, and I don't want a notification. Because the only way it stops is if you stop following. Stop following me, Anne. That's the only way it stops. And the only reason I watched E11 because I knew she was going to lie about me, and sure enough, she did. Because this is the first live I watched in full of the one she just did, and I caught those lies, and that's why I said it on here. E11, get a life. Honestly, you're so pathetic with your stupid lies. It's really weird. Now we know that Maria was working with JY. I'm not the one who ran back to him. You guys did. Never in a million years would it be okay. Somebody on Reddit wrote after she lost the first RO, she made up with him, and then he got an RO on her and she got one on him. That is not true. After I lost the first RO, I never talked to him again. Never. So why are you guys making stuff up? Never went back. Hey, just saying, never talked again, and that was the end of it. So why is everybody lying like that on that side? You're late. You're very late. Sips coffee. Nice. Beautiful. Hold on. Let me see what somebody's sending me. Maria's never been there with him. No, and I never will. I never would. I just wanted to clear up that I didn't send him information through Janeva. I was really hurt when I found out that he had that. And I said, I'm not trusting her anymore. I didn't give it to her the first time, but after that, I said, I will never trust her with anything that has to do with anything. And I even asked Janeva when I found out that she had sent it out to him, where did you get it from? Because I didn't send it to you. And I knew where she got it from because it was the person I sent it to. The people were people that became friends with him after everything, but it wasn't. I would never. Nope. One and done. That's like I always said. Some people lie to keep fighting going on. Does E11 actually? No, she doesn't work. She doesn't work. But that's like I said, to me, George is a one and done, never again. And it could be years from now. When I was arguing back and forth with Jules, it didn't go past a certain point. It didn't go past YouTube, past, oh, you this, you that, you this. No stupid shit like that. But when it goes into real life, you're done. Because it should never go that far. George has brought it into real life. Also, I would never be okay with that. Send it to the original. Sorry, I'm late. It's okay. I honestly just saying, when I've never stopped talking to Leda, but it's always been sporadic. Before, it was more sporadic than now. And when I was talking to this person, I'm not going to divulge who she is. When I was talking to her, and then I found out all this happened with Leda's daughter, I said, my first reaction was like, show it to her. And I'm like, Leda doesn't have a daughter. And then she goes, she doesn't? And I said, no, she doesn't. And then she goes, how are you sure? And I said, because I'm talking to her like at least a few times a week, or 2 times a week at a time, or sometimes 3 times on IG. And she never said anything. So I don't think she has a daughter. What is going on here? And that was the only reason. It was nothing more than that. And then after that, when I'm like, how is Leda telling me this if there's no daughter? Then after that, Leda's like, yeah, I do have a daughter. I never told many people. I think the only person I had told online was Anne. And Anne said, yeah, she does have a daughter. But the only reason I sent that was because I thought, can we find out if there was a daughter? Not anything else. And then that person told me she does have a daughter, and I sent it to Janeva, and she called the police. That's exactly how it happened. I never thought there was a daughter. And that person felt so, and Janeva did call. We did not all go back. No, you stayed strong on that one, that's for sure. And I'm grateful for that. At least I can see that you didn't be suckered back into it. And I hope Brooke stays strong about staying away. But not because of anything else. And that person had sent it to Janeva, and Janeva called the police. But the only thing that showed was that she had her doubts about Eric too, just the way Eric had it, like anybody would, like anybody would. If you're living in a house with your husband and something happens to your child, you're gonna have questions, and you can only account for yourself. You can't say, "Oh, I 100% saw my husband 24 hours a day and nothing happened." Who was pretending to be Eric? No, Geneva was pretending to be someone else messaging Eric. That's what happened. Geneva was messaging Eric as another person, and Eric responded to her. And then she was taking screenshots of that conversation and sending it to John. In fact, if you look at this conversation, he said, "I hope you're not John because I want nothing to do with him." But I had no idea until I saw, I think it was the very beginning of the conversation that JY had posted once. And then I text message Leda and I said, Eric is messaging with Janeva. Eric is messaging with Janeva. How somebody will behave when you're in a state of shock. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exact. Just saying, you got it. That's exactly it. That is exactly how it went. And that is how he got the screen records and put his name on it. That's exactly how it went. They all forgave him to get back at Maria. Yep. Yeah, well, I don't think Anne ever went back, and Sarah never went back, and I think E11 did, but then stopped, and Brooke did, and I don't know. I think she stopped. I don't know if anybody else. What's funny, Sarah? No, not at all. Whoever went back to him backfired on them. I know it's the same shit as 2025, 2024. Same thing that happened before, and it's never going to be any different. That's why I don't understand why people fall for the same thing over and over again. We should have walked away from this considering it revolved around your messages. He should have walked away from this considering it revolved around your messages if he really took the RO serious. But he doesn't take it serious. Like he said, he thinks that nothing will be done. And here's the difference. No, remember the messages that Eric was getting? That was Janeva? That she was messaging Eric for JY? And then we found out it was Janeva? I can't see, just saying, or Lisa Marie. Well, you must not be in all messages. That he said he talked to Eric. He's never talked to Eric. Not once. Eric was foolish enough to fall for messaging with Janeva. But it wasn't JY. Oh, I asked if someone was pretending to be Eric. Oh, no, it was Janeva talking to Eric. She claimed her name was Chloe. There you go. Chloe. There's Jen's dog. Chloe was talking to Eric. Who knew Chloe could talk? Did she go, Mama, Mama? Oh my goodness. She couldn't come up with a different name. Chloe. Why do we always have to keep it in the community? You could have come up with a totally different name. No, let's pick a name from the community, Chloe. Oh my goodness. Who can't see me because, wait, who can't see me? I can't see, just saying, or Sassy Mom said she can't see you. This young cough. Can you imagine? There needs to be a lot of reform to protect children from the burden falls on the parents once they are made aware of the abuse and do nothing. I know, and at the time, the same way he says, it's her because Eric said so. There's also screen records of Leda saying that she's not 100% sure it couldn't be him. So it goes both ways. So you just can't go on. That's why I'm telling you, you just can't go on a live and say, oh, it's all on you guys. If something doesn't happen to Leda, it's all on you guys. It's all your fault. It's nothing's on. There's clean slate. Nothing on our side. Nothing's gonna bother me with anything because we're nothing but people on YouTube. We're not in her life. We have nothing to do with it. That's her problem. That's her situation. Nobody on YouTube is going to make a difference. Not one single person on YouTube is going to make a difference. Hey, Vixie. This thunderous on Reddit. I had no clue Paula was playing AC. I do not watch her. AC messaged me after he did it. I had zero to do with it. Oh, God. They're writing that on Reddit? I know. But trust me, there's not going to be any news flash on the news and say, JY broke the case. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's all for content. Nothing more than that on YouTube. Not one YouTuber is going to break a case. It's so stupid. And people are being sucked into this like if it's true crime. There's no true crime channel here. This is 90 Day Fiance on he's a 90 Day Fiance blogger. There's nothing true crime about it. You have her just saying blocked. She doesn't have you blocked. Hence his channel called The Shit Show. Oh, the one on there. Later. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I'll be damned if I'm going to have somebody lie about me or my family. Nobody's reaching out to him. Nobody would, except my sister. And that's on her. I have never had communications with her before or after, so she doesn't exist in my life. So, my sister reaching out to him is like, let's say, Lisa Marie reaching out to him. Lisa Marie doesn't know anything about my life. Or Susie, or Cindy. They know nothing about my real life. My sister doesn't know anything about my real life. So that you could reach out to, or Janeva reaching out to him now and giving him information about Leda. She knows nothing anymore. She knows nothing. The only thing they can get is the same thing everybody else gets. Is if you stalk Leda enough and you go and look at her court things every single morning before you have your cup of coffee. And that isn't news because anybody can do that. But nobody would care enough to do it. So trust me, the same thing that Rabbit gets, that Kiki and Kibitz get from Googling her name, Leda's name, it's the same thing he's getting. Same exact thing. Eric is not falling for anybody texting him. Leda's getting just as many horrible text messages as he is. But the wording on Leda's text messages are 100 times worse. The things that are being said to her on text messages. So there's the spoof messages are out the window because Leda's getting them too. I hate messy behind the scene people. Yep. I do the mess publicly on my channel. No messy crap behind the scenes. I hate that type of ish. I know. And trust me, for them to be harassing her by sending her horrible text messages, calling her horrible names, and then trying to text her like, hey, it's me, Janeva. Eric fell for that shit once. It's not happening again. They're not responding to anybody because You know what happens when Eric responds to fake profiles? It ends up on JY's channel. So it's easier just not to respond, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Nobody on YouTube is going to change any outcome. Nobody on YouTube is going to change any outcome. And calling the police department and them doing a search of your channel will just prove that you're just an obsessed person. And it'll be thrown out in 2 seconds flat. 2 seconds flat, when from day one you're calling somebody a baby killer. She should change her phone number and keep it private. No, they don't have her phone number. It's her business number that they're calling. Maybe she should look into another RO against him. Yep, I agree. I agree 100% with that one. Fuck off. William. Go call your daughter. If anyone spoke up at the time, no later, behind the scenes, there could be much less conflict on YouTube. I know. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I don't even bother with Anne anymore. The only reason I looked at Anne, what she wrote, I think she wrote it either last night or I don't even know what time. I was looking on Reddit and said Anne woke up pissed off. And I said, oh, let me go look. And I see she's responding to a post that has nothing to do with her. She watches me like a hawk. Who's nastier, JY or William? JY. Definitely. Definitely. But you think after 2 years, he would have learned not to threaten to K people. And I don't know who that lady was that he was dragging, but it reminded me of poor Kathy. Like you're in that final shock where you've helped out so much and he's dragging you like that. To go call his daughter, the best thing he ever did was his daughter stay away from her. No, she already tried calling her, and she said, I want nothing to do with you. Pretend to kill himself for money or things like that. I know, and to speak to her that way. And she literally said she had a stroke and her left side is numb, like she can't use her left side. And then he said something about he said that when she's eating, her food falls out of her mouth. Can you believe to say something like that of somebody who's helped him out so much? I feel sorry if I was trying to get him to. I know. And he said that the fresh onion soup. Well, remember when I went to was poisoned? Then I'm going to say the same thing about when I went to eat at that seafood restaurant with Lauren, Marie, and my and I vomited and I got really sick and I had the seizure. Then they were trying to poison me. It had to be. They tried to poison me because nobody else in the restaurant got sick. That's such bullshit. Just because one person gets sick doesn't mean that it was bad. It could be a reaction that you had to something. Who's he saying that about? The lady that was a good friend to him. And you know what? These women just don't learn. I don't understand it. Put yourselves first. If somebody treats you that way, and trust me, if I go right now and I drag Mona and I start reading all our conversations and hey Salty Pepper, or I drag Salty Pepper, or I drag Susie, and then I drag just saying one, after another, like months pass and I do the same thing. Lisa Maria is gonna come by and say, hey, wait a minute. Normal people, hey, wait a minute. She's dragged Mona, she's dragged Salty Pepper, she's dragged Cree, she's dragged JD, so why wouldn't she drag me? I don't think I can trust her. Because she seems to get pissed off and then not drag bad, not say, hey, Lisa Marie, you're a horrible person. No. Bring out everything about you. And to say, remember how you used to say that I had everybody help me pay for the lawyer's fee and he didn't need it? His main contributor behind the scenes was Addie and Brooks Nose. And they gave him a lot of money for the lawyers. And guess what? Neither one talks to him anymore because he trashed both of them. That go live multiple times a day for hours and hours to make money will soon have sad wake-up call because YouTube is changing guidelines and is setting limitations to stream. Oh, really? That's a good thing. Hey, Brexa, how are you? Don't care about people's opinions of me. I know who I am. So for him to say that he paid for it all by himself, no, he didn't. I know of two, Addie's and Brooks Nose, that gave thousands. Addie is just too kind. And then the same thing happened with Addie. He said that her and her husband wanted to have sex with them. And the same thing happened with this Roro. Robo wanted sex with Cody. Home Depot Jen wanted sex with Cody. It's the same thing again and again. He trashed Stacy, who stayed in his house to help him when his husband was in the hospital. But nobody learns. Addie's super sweet. She wants to see the good in everyone. Yep. I'm just saying, put yourselves first. You know, if somebody treats you bad, then think to yourself, why am I putting up with it? Why do I think it's okay for somebody to treat me bad and I keep going bad and feeling sorry for the person? What is wrong with me that I feel the need to go back to somebody who treats me like shit? As he also gave him a PS5, he gets what he wants and then tosses everyone to the side when he doesn't need them anymore. She saw John clearly and loved his behavior until it was directed at her. John lied about having cancer. It's just like I'll give you an example on me. I'll put myself there. I followed George. Some things I thought was funny, some things bothered me. And yet when it bothered me, I'm just like that too. When it bothered me, I stayed. Why? It's things that we have to work on. If you don't feel comfortable, if you don't think, okay, like when he did that fat suit thing and he was playing with himself, if you don't feel comfortable more than you feel like you're laughing, because everybody can have it, you can go see a content creator and he says something that you're like, ugh. That doesn't mean that you just automatically stop following and never talk to that person again and never follow them. No. But if you're feeling more uncomfortable than comfortable, then check yourself out. Get out. Because if you see somebody trashing other women on the panel, you're next. You're next. That could truly come between you and Cody. Let's be honest. Oh, God. Cheryl did a whole live a few years ago. My husband has fighting that battle for every year. Why any of George's followers don't feel uncomfortable with his weird humor. I don't either. Like I said yesterday when I went on Paula's panel, because he was there lying, his first thing was calling me names, calling me a bitch, saying all this stuff. I didn't call him out of his name. He was calling me horrible things because when you can't have a conversation and you just want to scream and argue and act like a little bitch, that's what you do. So he couldn't, he was like, you're this, you're that, you're this. Why? Can I get a hell yeah? Sure. I remember people are as flawed as I am. Yeah. But I also have to be true to my moral boundaries and not allow, just like, I know, to override my moral anybody, I don't understand anybody in his chat that knows about the time that Addie was in there. and how Addie loved, how everybody treated her. Everybody loved Addie, and how she was treated. Why do you stick around? Why do we as women think we can fix other people when you obviously have been around for years and sees that you can't? So why would you put yourself in that situation? I mean, I felt sorry for Roro, and I don't even know her. But the things I said, like, she's like, please don't talk about me. I can't go up there. I had a stroke. My left side doesn't work. And he says, yeah, the way you dribble the food out of your mouth was so gross. She literally said she had a stroke on her left side. And you're making fun of that. Her food dribbles out of her mouth. Too many and want it so bad. Should be people who have it, as opposed to the amazing people who suffer daily. Sorry, not sorry. Yep. Susie, they either think it's okay or they're too afraid to speak up to him. Then why stick around? Because you know, as long as you're there, even with me, there's an account um going in there by the name of Maria Crochet Corner. It's not me. If you look at the account, mine is Maria's with an S, not Maria. And it goes in there. So he obviously knows it's not me. And he doesn't block it. He doesn't delete it. None of that. Trust me, there's not an account called JY327 coming in here. Because whether it's fake or it's real, it's going to be blocked. I promise you, I would never go in there. I don't know. Ugh. My grandmother passed from lung cancer, and the anguish she experienced will haunt me forever. She prayed for death at the end. She even asked me to smother her. I would never play with cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's a horrible way to pass. That is really bad. I don't get it. And to say that you have it and you never had it is really bad. He probably had to put it in the blender. Oh, goodness. Her live is in 50. Who's live? He's. Wait a minute. Who's going live in 50? Jane D, who's going live in 15 minutes? Bliss Chris. So 11:45? Because I'll definitely cut it off for her. And we'll all go there. All right, we can go there. I just wanted to clear that up. What I wanted to clear up is that I never gave him any information, never said anything about, so make sure that she doesn't change it because I'm going to get out of here now. Never said, thank you, Jane D. I'll give you information if you, remove the RO. That conversation never happened. Absolutely never. He's not going to have a screenshot of me saying that. But I do have screenshots of him saying, tell her if she wants it to go away, she's got to give me information. And my response to Brooke was, hell no. Hell no. He's using it as a tool. And I said, hell no. Watch that too was one some. Sorry. He also prayed on a rosary when a member of the community was in a coma to pass, and she did eventually. He has to face God at the end. I know. Who does that? You never use a rosary for something like that. And I do, even though we're not talking anymore, when I saw that Brooke wrote that in E11s, I screenshot it because I appreciate that people that, even if you're not talking, they stand up for what's right. And she said, nope, because they were saying, oh, Maria has been Maria's probably been talking to him behind the scenes and trying to get it taken down, the RO. And Brooke said, nope, Maria had no idea that I went to him. And I took a screenshot of that. See, E11, how you try to change the narrative because you don't know shit. And she like read it, and they're like, okay, Brooke, okay. Because she already wanted to say that I have been working with him, and I haven't. And if Janeva was here, she would tell you that I give her nothing, and she asks for nothing. We don't even talk about it. It's a conversation that we don't talk about. Nobody who suffered from that shit would play with it. You're right. That's my worst fear, is the C word. Will never be answered. He's an idiot. The rosary rejects evil. I know, but when somebody is in a situation that Mims was in, and to hear somebody pray for her death was really hard. And remember, when that happened, I wasn't even talking to her. We had been arguing back and forth. So when that happened and we weren't friends, I immediately prayed that she would survive. I said, and I think it was in Terry Lynn's that she had a live or something, and I said, she can attack me anytime. Let her come back and say whatever she wants to me. I'll accept it. But when you have a bad heart and a bad soul, you say, let me go pray on the rosary and for her death. Because there's quite a few other people in this community who were glad that she was in the situation that she was in. And that's when you have to check yourself and say, is that really a good person that I really want to hang out with or want to be in chat with? That type of karma for saying things like that will be disastrous. Yep. You guys just had a live together, didn't you? No, when the last time I talked to her, I mean, we weren't arguing like we had in the past. We had messaged on IG, but that was about it. You know, about our, I don't even remember, it was about our daughters or something. And it wasn't bad at that time, but we weren't good. We were just cordial. It wasn't like anything nice. I mean, it wasn't anything bad about the daughters, but we weren't friendly. He's never apologized for that. If he's sorry, he would have by now. You know what? I I I couldn't care less about an apology. If you say something that bad and you apologize after, your apology means nothing because we're adults and that shit should never come out of your mind, out of your mouth. If you have it in your mind, keep it in your mind. It should never come out of your mouth. And we have to learn not to say things like that. So you can't say these horrible things and apologize after. We speak online. I wasn't watching at the time, so I didn't know most of the shit people approached her. She texted me about it. I love her and prayed for her. I will never forget those who wished her harm. I don't know how you can see somebody, know that somebody's in a hospital bed fighting for their life and wish that upon them. And knowing that she was a mother and grandmother and everything, even if she wasn't, she's a human being. But then to go on there, see, that's what I don't understand. And don't get me started. That's what I don't understand. People that sat through that, praying in a rosary for her death and still supported him. How can you pray for anybody's death and still support the person? What if Mims was your family member and he prayed for her death? Does it make a difference? Would it hurt you if it was if it was your son, your daughter, your sister, your mother in that bed? Then you would not support him, right? But because it was somebody who you don't know because you only know online, you let it slide. Because I don't want to see anybody here, whether I like you or not, have a family member in a hospital the way she was and have them pass. Because we don't know your family, but they're loved. Mims had people who loved her. She had daughters and grandkids and a husband. She had everybody. So what gives somebody who doesn't know her the right to say, I prayed for her death? Sick in the head by psychopath level emotion to say something so disgusting like that. That's why I tell you, you can even say after, even if he said a year or 2 years later, I apologize for it and I should never have said it. No, apology not accepted. We have to be human beings and know what comes out of our mouths. You know, when Real Entertainment passed, I didn't. I definitely didn't like Real Entertainment. What everybody else liked him, it's on them, and that's their. They all had a different relationship. I didn't like him, but I didn't want to see him pass. I didn't jump up for joy when he passed. Why he's a no forever for me, and that and the things that he did against other women, including the reading of the Warriors. Big no. Yep, I agree. Don't wish death on anybody, or don't be glad when somebody passes, because karma is real. And I don't play with that shit. I really believe in that. If you wish that something that horrible on somebody, it comes back to you. I really believe it does. But I know that God allows people to be trapped in the traps of others. Sounds kind of like karma. This shit is so sad, make me tear up. People who pray and send good juju really try to hope the best of people. That's my experience. Look, when I love that when well, I don't love what Sarah went through with that hurricane and how it destroyed her place and everything, but people from the other side of the community came for her too, came and was worried about her too. That's how it should be in this community, not because of, because you don't like somebody on the other side or something. I don't want anything to happen to Jen. I don't want anything to happen to E11. I don't want anything to happen to Anne. I wish she would just calm down and mind her own business and just move on, but I don't want anything bad to happen to her. And people who honestly take this so strongly that they want something bad to happen really have to reevaluate their lives. Because when you wish something bad on others, it comes back on you. It always does. I don't have any hate in my heart for anyone. I wouldn't wish that on the worst enemy, let alone their family. That will come back to you eventually, wishing foul shit like that. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. He wanted to take his to go car and do that. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Bliss Chris is going live in about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna go get my coffee. So I just wanted you guys to know that that's all I wanted to clear up, is that I'm not doing anything behind the scenes, not working with him, never thought of talking to him again. I would never scream like he does. Click the link. I would never give him a link to click. When it's one and done, that's it for me. For people like, who's the fight daily, never complain. Yep. People who go real life, like the as far as it's taken me with him and with anybody else, um, like George and stuff, is a no. And I don't wish anything bad on him. He's just a no for me. And he could not be a no for everybody else. For some others that go there, it's and like him or whatever. But sometimes you have to put your foot down and say no. And when you take it that far and make you feel so bad that of the things that were done to you, for your own peace of mind, stay on the no. If somebody has gone that far on you and made you feel so horrible, and then later apologize, you can accept an apology, but you can still keep them as a no. You can say, okay, but that's it. I appreciate your apology, but you're just a no forever. And move on. But don't go back in and fall for the same thing again. Because it's like being in an abusive relationship. They'll apologize and you keep going back in and you keep going back in and you keep going. You're in an abusive relationship online. Find your own peace and don't do that. Okay, let's go to Bliss Chris. Take care, everybody. Thank you guys for stopping by. And I appreciate you guys hearing it out. I wanted to put it out there because I needed to clear that. No family member of mine will ever help him out for anything. And I don't consider Anna family, so that's fine.